following is an actual account of my experiences as of recently. Because of the nature of what has happened, I must remain anonymous until I feel it is safe to reveal my real name. But for now you can refer to me as James Richards. On September 9th, 2009, an extraordinary event unfolded in my life. A series of events that continue to baffle me to this day. It all began when I stumbled upon a cassette tape, an enigmatic artifact that contained an unreleased Beatles album. But here's the twist. This album wasn't just any forgotten gem from their heyday. It was recorded years after the band's dissolution, and no, I'm not referring to Klaatu. Now brace yourself, for what I'm about to recount may stretch the bounds of credulity, leaving you questioning my sanity or dismissing me as a complete eccentric. However, I assure you that I am of sound mind, free from any intoxicating substances. And with the audio from this tape as my witness, I hope to convince you that there is far more to our reality than meets the eye. Picture this. I reside in the quaint city of Livermore, California. But on that eventful September 9th, I found myself driving back home from Turlock after spending a few days visiting a dear friend. Accompanying me on this journey was my faithful canine companion, and with no pressing engagements, I decided to take a leisurely drive through a place called Puerto Canyon, located just west of Turlock. This scenic route not only promised a pleasant drive but also served as a direct route to my destination. It was around 2 p.m. when I embarked on this winding path. As I ventured deeper into the canyon, my dog suddenly exhibited signs of needing a break. Sensing her urgency, I promptly pulled over to the first available parking area, situated on the roadside. As I let her out, taking a moment to stretch my legs, an unexpected sight caught my attention. A raucous chase between my dog and a nimble rabbit. Now, ordinarily, my dog is well behaved, but once her chase instincts kick in, there's no stopping her. Thus, I found myself inadvertently becoming part of this impromptu pursuit. Already lagging behind by approximately 40 yards, I had no choice but to push myself to the limit. Alas, the uneven terrain and treacherous patches of soft earth made running an arduous task. Fate, it seemed, had other plans for me, as my foot sank into an unsuspecting rabbit hole, causing me to stumble and collide with the ground, knocking myself unconscious. When I eventually regained consciousness, I discovered myself within the confines of an unfamiliar room, adorned with furniture and peculiar electronic contraptions. While my head had been tended to, a bandage encasing the injury, a sense of unease pervaded my being. After all, the spot where I had fallen and injured myself was in an isolated, sparsely populated area devoid of any dwellings. And yet, as I listened intently, the distant sounds of traffic permeated the room through an open window. Curiosity stirred within me, and with caution, I approached the window, which stood on the opposite side next to an extraordinary-looking machine that defied recognition from any place I had ever seen before. Its presence seemed incongruous within what otherwise appeared to be someone's ordinary abode. Driven by a desire to unravel this mystery, I resolved to peer out the window. However, before I could do so, the door swung open, and bounding inside was my elated canine companion. And standing before me was a man, a figure of about 6 feet in height, boasting medium-length black hair and an air of casual elegance, though there was an underlying aura of sleaziness that sent a shiver down my spine. He introduced himself as Jonas and inquired about my well-being, to which I responded with a grateful affirmation. Jonas revealed that he had discovered me unconscious in a nearby field, with my loyal dog barking incessantly by my side. Expressing my gratitude for his timely assistance, and remarking on my surprise that my dog had returned to me, I posed the question that would ignite a cascade of bewildering thoughts within me. Where am I? Approximately 20 feet away from the spot where I discovered you, he replied, his voice tinged with a mixture of intrigue and caution. I couldn't comprehend his response at first, for it contradicted everything I believed to be true. How could there be any dwellings within a radius of at least 20 miles from the place I distinctly remembered being? Perplexed, I voiced my disbelief, emphasizing the absence of any residential structures in the vicinity. In response, he warned me that what he was about to reveal would defy the boundaries of conventional belief. He insisted that unless he had personally experienced it, even he would struggle to accept the reality of his next words. Casting a glance at the contraption nestled near the window, he turned his attention back to me and divulged the astonishing truth. He had transported me to a parallel Earth. He explained that he had traversed dimensions, journeying from his Earth to ours, where he stumbled upon my unconscious form amidst scorching heat and desolation, devoid of any aid or assistance. Under normal circumstances, he wouldn't have escorted an outsider through the portal, but he sensed an urgent need for intervention in my case. Brimming with curiosity, I bombarded him with inquiries about the enigmatic concept of parallel world travel. My knowledge on the subject stemmed solely from fleeting glimpses of YouTube videos featuring the renowned physicist Michio Kaku. Sensing my eagerness, he urged me to slow down, assuring me that he would provide a comprehensive explanation. As he began to elaborate, I learned that in his world, acquiring a parallel travel device was relatively accessible, albeit at a considerable cost. Despite its inherent peril, the machine had garnered substantial popularity. He informed me that during the 1950s in his dimension, the government had confronted a pivotal decision, whether to allocate funds to a space exploration program, presumably akin to our NASA, or to an ambitious venture known as the ARPD. The precise meaning of the acronym eluded me, but the PD clearly denoted parallel dimensions. Interestingly, I had noticed the same acronym adorning various electronic devices within the room where our conversation took place. According to him, the genuine danger lay in venturing into uncharted dimensions. With an infinite number of Earths spanning across alternate realms, only a fraction had been explored. The perils of venturing into the unknown were manifold. He cautioned that individuals risk death in myriad ways upon traversing the threshold of a portal. Some perished from fatal falls, unfortunate victims of inadequate proximity between the portal and solid ground. Others met their demise due to drowning, as certain dimensions were entirely submerged beneath vast bodies of water, rendering it immensely challenging to reopen portals underwater. Fire, atmospheric conditions, and various other hazards also claimed countless lives. In order to mitigate such risks, individuals had to ascertain that the target dimension possessed similar topography to their own. Consequently, his government had undertaken extensive research to identify safe worlds for transport, even establishing public locations where people could select from a menu of secure destinations. Many of these alternate dimensions showcased flourishing ecosystems untouched by human hands, only to be intruded upon by the influx of inhabitants from overcrowded worlds. Jonas mentioned the emergence of new industries born out of this extraordinary phenomenon, including what he referred to as dimensional life brokers. These individuals offered the tantalizing prospect of assuming a new identity in an already established parallel world, completely oblivious to the existence of dimensional borders or the influx of travelers. He revealed that he served as an explorer for one of these dimensional travel agencies, scouring uncharted realms in search of new frontiers, which ultimately led him to our Earth. Our conversation spanned a wide range of fascinating topics, delving into the intriguing similarities and differences between our respective worlds. We explored everything from culinary delights and cultural nuances to television shows and technological advancements. As we conversed, the subject of music arose, adding a captivating dimension to our exchange. Astonishingly, we discovered that many bands, including the legendary Beatles, existed in both of our worlds. When Jonas mentioned that his brother had recently attended a Beatles concert, I couldn't help but give him a quizzical look and inquire, "Wait, are they still together?" To my surprise, he confirmed that they were indeed alive, healthy, and actively touring in his world. Intrigued by this revelation, Jonas beckoned me to accompany him into another room. Inside, my eyes fell upon a bookshelf-like structure adorned with cassette tapes. Yes, the old-fashioned music format. CDs never gained popularity in his world. Alongside the tapes, there was a peculiar-looking device that served as a tape player, radio, and record player. Its design diverged from the radios we were accustomed to, featuring speakers resembling crinkled cardboard, which, despite their appearance, emitted remarkably good sound. Although I couldn't examine the speakers closely, they bore an uncanny resemblance to elongated accordions. Among Jonas' Beatles collection, the only store-bought album with authentic cover art was Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. While the cover bore slight differences from the version in my world, the songs remained identical. The other 6 Beatles tapes he possessed seemed to be homemade recordings, with handwritten song titles on cards slipped into the cases. I recognized a few album titles inscribed on the tapes, but there were 4 unfamiliar ones that piqued my curiosity. Jonas treated me to a sampling of songs from one of these tapes, and hearing Beatles music that never existed in our world felt surreal. We discussed this revelation, and Jonas explained that a girl in his upper school, an ardent Beatles fan, had meticulously crafted these tapes for him, eager to share their enchanting melodies. As Jonas switched out the first tape for the second, I casually suggested that he make a copy for me, intending to bring it back to my world as proof of my extraordinary experience. However, the reaction on Jonas' face sent shivers down my spine, and the seriousness in his eyes took on an almost eerie quality. Though I cannot recall his exact words, he vehemently responded, "No, you must not take anything back with you to your world. No pictures, no souvenirs, no tapes, nothing." The intensity of his response and the underlying concern for my safety unnerved me, solidifying my decision to remain anonymous. I probed further, seeking an explanation, but he refused to provide any details, simply asserting that it was for my own well-being. Of course, I'm not one to embark on a journey through parallel worlds without obtaining a memento to substantiate my unbelievable story. So, in that moment, I reassured Jonas that I wouldn't take anything, diverting the conversation to a different topic. Roughly an hour later, as we engaged in further discussion, the sound of a doorbell chimed through the air, prompting Jonas to leave the room momentarily to attend to the visitor. Recognizing this as a fleeting opportunity, I swiftly seized one of the tapes and concealed it in my pocket, carefully rearranging the remaining tapes to mask any signs of tampering. Upon Jonas' return, I fabricated a hunger pang, using it as an excuse to lure us out of the room. I had jumbled the tapes slightly, making it difficult to discern the missing one, but I didn't wish to be present when he discovered the discrepancy. Jonas graciously led me to another room, where he provided nourishment. The taste of the food largely resembled our own, albeit with different brand names and vibrant colors. The most peculiar item was the purple ketchup. As we continued to converse, I eventually hinted that it was time for me to depart, citing the lateness of the hour, curiously mirroring the time of day in my own world, as seems to be a universal constant across all worlds. Returning to the room housing the enigmatic machines, I clutched my dog and extended my hand in gratitude to Jonas for his care after my untimely unconsciousness. Once again, I expressed my appreciation and bid him farewell. Stepping through the portal, the sensation was akin to being immersed in water yet miraculously remaining dry, an inexplicably peculiar experience. Even my dog shook herself off, as if she, too, believed she had become drenched in the inexplicable transition. As I returned to our familiar world, I gazed at my car parked along the road, its metallic surface glinting in the darkness. A stark, straight-line burn mark scarred the ground, a vivid reminder of the portal that had materialized moments ago. The residual heat emanating from the scorch was still causing smoke to waft into the air, catching my attention. Although I approached my car with a measured stride this time, I couldn't help but feel a shiver of unease. Driving home, I grappled with the frustration of being unable to listen to the tape I had acquired. The absence of a tape player in my car prevented me from indulging in the mysteries it held. This obstacle persisted even when I reached the sanctuary of my own abode, leaving me with no choice but to venture to Walmart to purchase a tape player specifically for this purpose. Regrettably, I possessed no further information regarding the enigmatic tape beyond what was inscribed on its card sleeve. The track titles and the album name, Everyday Chemistry, were the only clues at my disposal. Its origins and contents remained as elusive to me as they were to you. Moreover, questioning the man who had inadvertently become the source of this strange artifact was out of the question, given the circumstances surrounding its acquisition. In the days to come, I intend to share more about my extraordinary experience, but duty calls, and I must head to work for now. This post has already become quite lengthy. However, if any of you have burning questions about this incident, I have created an email address where you can reach me. Please check out the description on this video. I promise to respond to each query to the best of my abilities. Lastly, I implore anyone out there who may have encountered something similar to reach out to me. The cryptic statements made by the man who handed me the tape leave me wondering whether dimensional travelers have visited our world before.